Hey guys, SeanB, and today in this video I try to create an artifact cheat sheet because personally I still can't remember what is good and what is bad for the artifacts, and there are just way too many effects and then type and then element to remember. So in today's video I try to rank the sub properties to see which one are good and bad and try to give some examples of what you can use the sub property for. That's about it. If you find it helpful, let me know in the comment section down below. This is my first time doing this. I made this thing in PowerPoint and you can see it is not very pretty. The alignments are kind of over the place, but I'm very bad at this. I try. If you can do it better, please let me know. I will send you everything and then you can just rearrange because I suck at this. Okay? But before we go into the artifact, this video is sponsored by Raid Shadow Legends, one of the most famous mobile RPG game in the world. I'm pretty sure your dad heard about Raid Shadow Legends. It stands out from the crowd with a very unique dark fantasy theme. It is a very competitive mobile game, and the thing I like the most about Raid Shadow Legends is the fact that you can play on both PC and mobile, so I can crush people anywhere, anytime. In Raid, you can summon your favorite champion and there are so many factions to choose from. And then you can craft your unique team and bring them to progress in the story mode, dungeon, and the PvP arena. And that's where I enjoy the most. Who doesn't love a good noob crushing after a long day of work? Not only that, within the last couple of weeks, the game has added so much new updates. First, they've just added Champion Fragment, which let you collect pieces of champion that you can use to summon specific awesome champions, with special events running all the time. There's also a new Bazaar where you can load up on high value items with the gold bars you win in Tag Arena. And they just extended the daily login rewards up to 270 days. You can get free awesome champion just for logging in. It's been a crazy month for updates, so there has never been a better time to start Raid Shadow Legends. So what are you waiting for? Go to the video description, click the special link to download the game. If you are a new player, you get 50,000 silver, 50 gem, 1 energy refill, 1 clan boss key, 5 mystery shards. You think I'm done? I'm not done yet. 1 day XP booster and 1 free epic champion, Shaman. I personally use this champion since my day 1 and I love it. All this treasure will be waiting for you here in the inbox. Remember, it's only available for the next 30 days. Download the game right now with the link down below. Okay, welcome back. In the first page, we have tier 1, tier 2, and tier 3. So I really value the tier 1 sub properties. They are pretty good. They're usable in most situations, and there are many units that can benefit immediately from the tier 1 sub property. Alright, let's take a look at tier 1. These are some examples that you can think of, but there are many others that can benefit from the bonus crit damage in your skill. It's like having an extra crit damage tower, and it's really good because most of the damage in the game comes in the form of critical damage. So I have like Zyros, Daphnis, especially Daphnis can do some crazy damage. Lucian for offense and for farming. Copper can do even more damage with crit damage as well. So it's really good. I really think Comp doesn't do something about skill 4 crit damage because it drops very often and there are not a lot of units can use that. On most units would not even care about skill 4 crit damage. So you need to make it so that maybe if you get skill 3 crit damage and if you have a skill 4, it will enjoy the skill 3 crit damage as well. So you can just get rid of one variable in the whole sub property equation. There are some units that prefer skill 1, like let's say Odin or Rogue, or some other unit that primarily use skill 1. Miho can use a lot of skill 1 too. Oh my god, I totally forgot about Belegar in the tier 1 right here. With bonus damage and skill 3, my Belegar went from 33,000 to 37,000 with a pretty mediocre 10% crit damage artifact and some bonus in attack buff and just a little bit more attack flats. Next we have recovery. So majority of healer will enjoy recovery bonus, but it will also boost innate vampire effect or healing effects. Let's say Perna skill 3 is a passive that allows Perna to heal the entire team. So Bonus recovery will also boost perna healing, or let's say I think Abilio can also do the same thing. But majority of healers and things like Miho skill 1 and I think Laika skill 1 can also use extra recovery. Damage received from X elements, it can go up to 30%. Is really good if you are dedicating a unit to tank a certain element in PvP. Let's say Triana to tank the Daphnis, Harmonia to tank the Molong, your Lauren, if you are using her as a neutral tank for something, is really good. You can even trap certain thing like, let's say Copper. Let's say you have a Commune, Skogo and Vigor defense, and people usually Copper the Skogo first, which is very easy to trap them if you have damage received from wind to be like 20%, and then suddenly the enemy Copper, instead of doing 50,000, will do so much less and may not even kill the Skogo. So you can trap the enemy Copper, for example, if you know that that certain unit will always get Copper. And yeah, there are many ways to do this, but this is really good. Then we have damage dealt on certain elements. So you have Lucian to deal more damage to water if you are trying to make him one-shot wave in Giants B10, or you have your Rogue do more damage to fire, or you have your Crow do more damage to fire if you're using that in your Dragons B10. Or you want your Daphnis to do more damage to enemy Triana, for example. So that will also help to cancel out the enemy who are using damage received from certain elements to be reduced. So hey, it can be used in many different spots if you plan out correctly, especially in dungeon and guild battle. In RTA might not be too crazy. Let's say you always pick certain thing against certain elements, like Diana against the water, Daphnis against the wind. Then you will boost more damage against the certain elements that you always use this unit to counter. And you don't even have to crit, you know? You don't even have to crit, which is awesome. You can have Molong doing more damage to whatever, because it doesn't say here that you need to crit. Awesome stuff. Lastly, you have increased attack effect for the unit that always have attack buff. Let's say you run your Ciara Bastet Daphnis, you run your Commune Bastet Odin, they will always have attack buff. So increased attack effect will be really good for them. And attack buff is one of the most popular buff in the game, and Fran is super overused. So if you use a Fran, you can already use the increased attack effect. And even Fran can use it to increase her own healing, which is really good. And then there are units that always get attack buff like Antares, or you always bring a Megan or Bastet or Fran with a bomber like Malaka. The increased attack effect, very popular, very easy to use. Let's go to tier 2 sub properties. First, I have skill bonus accuracy. There are many units in the game that rely on the debuff to land, or else they are pretty much worthless. So any skill that use debuff, extra accuracy, is always gonna be good. Whether it's damage dealer or support unit. So let's say Lauren has 2 skill, they both need extra accuracy if you can. And having skill 1 and skill 2 extra accuracy will help her a lot. And not many people out there can rune the unit with maximum accuracy. If you're missing like 10 accuracy and you don't want to swap out that rune to give you 20% crit damage, slap on an artifact and you're good to go. On Daphnis skill 3 is very crucial to land that strip and defense break. But you want to focus on speed and damage of your Daphnis. You don't want to put in an accuracy rune. So the extra accuracy in skill 3 in specific is going to be super good. Or Zyra skill 3 or Sierra skill 2, you can pick and choose as long as you farm your artifacts. Next, we have the increased defense and speed effect. Increasingly, there are more defense buffer, defense scaling unit, and speed buffer. In particular, Vigor and Bernard. They are becoming more and more popular due to 2A, and extra speed in the speed buff is always really good. One of the most popular defense is Commune, Vigor, and Skogo, and the receiver need to have this as well. You cannot just have this on the buffer, the receiver need the increased speed effect to be better. Let's say you're using Bernard, Megan, Lucian. You want to have less speed and more damage, and you accidentally have a quad roll increased speed effect, then you can put it on Lucian, and Lucian will get more speed out of the speed buff, and you can have less speed and do more damage. But that will require some careful speed tuning testing to make sure that you move. but that's a possibility and that's really good. Attack defense speed proportionate to lost HP will be really good on unit that always lose their HP to do something. Miho will often be at a 1 HP point. Molong will always lose his HP to do the skill 3. Or maybe your dedicated tank unit in your guild battle, they will always be at the low HP point. So they will get extra attack, defense speed, but it's not very applicable in general because maybe you don't even lose your HP if you pick well and play well. But certain unit that lose a lot of HP will be able to use this, and extra stats is always really good. Next we have additional damage by percentage of certain stats. This is a flat damage bonus. It's like Fangyan skill 3, which means you cannot improve this damage further with your critical damage. So it's not really that high. It's a small amount, but it actually applies in every single hit. So a multi-hit will apply this damage multiple times compared to a single attack. So things like Juno, who apply multi-hit and go all the time with her skill 1, will get the most value out of this sub-property. Fangyan as well, he doesn't rely on quick damage, you just build him with speed defense or whatever, and then he'll get bonus from his extra defense to get even more damage out. Or let's say a support like Iris, who does multi-hit but doesn't really do a lot of damage, can get some extra bonus damage, which is really cool. Life Drain, very straightforward. It gives bonus life drain to those who use vampire runes or have innate vampire effect, unlike recovery. So recovery and life drain kind of overlap in that part where unit has innate life drain effect, which is pretty interesting. So Garo or Trevor or Molong or Ramagos often equipped with vampire runes, or unit with innate vampire like Miho or Laika who enjoy having bonus life drain, which is really good. But because most units in the game use violent or swift, so this is a bit more niche, but it fit really well in the niche it belonged to. Next we have counter attack, reflect damage, and attacking together. These are pretty niche, but because the unit that use this effect is really popular now, so I would say you can use this all the time. Everybody use rogue. A lot of people use rogue in dungeon, PvP, so extra damage for the attacking together is really good for rogue, and those who attack with him. You can equip this as well so that they can do more damage when they attack together with rogue. So because rogue is so popular, this is really good. A counter attack for Miho is so popular as well. Or revenge unit like let's say Verd or Laika can do more damage with a bonus damage for counter attack. Reflect damage is a bit more rare, maybe it belongs in tier 3 to be honest, but Jiaotan is gaining crazy popularity. The bonus damage for reflect damage is pretty good as well. Lastly, let's move to tier number 3. A bit more niche and also pretty small bonus for the effect, so it's not really that good. Next we have increased crit rate effect. It's good when you use your wind horrors or water horrors to buff your team, but increasingly people are using different kind of support so that the team can be safer, or they are going for different effects in the buffer like speed. Katarina team is definitely good, but I think people are really used to the Katarina having 70 crit rate, so they'd rather get the extra crit damage and skill to their Katarina to go crazy with damage rather than trying to reduce the crit rate a little bit. But if you are missing that 1 or 2% crit rate, this might help. Not bad, but I personally don't use crit rate buff a lot. I don't really see crit rate buff a lot, so I put them in tier number 3. Receive damage or speed under inability. This will most likely be an RTA against CC team, but RTA right now there are so many different kind of team out there that receive damage under a condition might not be as good as just receive damage against certain elements. So not that amazing. If you're not doing RTA that much, you are not going to face crowd control that much, then this will be even less useful. And the unit can use will be those that often get stunned or control, or in RTA anybody can use because Hathor is a thing, but usually you stun your Miho, you stun the Verd before you're trying to kill them, so maybe this can help them to survive a bit longer. Next we have bomb damage. It's very controversial because there are many different type of artifacts that bomb damage just doesn't belong, but Bomber can definitely use some extra bomb damage. But because it always appears in like HP or support or defense artifact, You can't really use this thing. By the way, Jojo is a defense type unit. I didn't know that, but now I know. Jojo is a defense type unit. But the Sea Emperor family can return bomb to the enemy. Do you consider them a bomber? Next, we have receive crit damage decrease. These are the units that I think will often get targeted before they destroy your team. So they kill these first. Vanessa Triana, then Skogo, you kill the Skogo first. You often copper the John in the defense. So let's say you have received crit damage minus, then they will not do as much damage, which is not a bad idea. And there are many type of damage out there like flat damage, bomb damage, normal damage, like non-critical damage. So it'll be less useful. But if you combine this with others, you will have a pretty tanky unit against a certain unit, which is not bad, you know, not bad. If you have the John on receive crit damage minus 10%, receive less damage from win unit another 20%, hey, that John will be super tanky against a copper. It's very specific and not as generally good in my opinion. Crushing hit damage is also very niche. It applied the most to the Brownie Magician family, which has a skill 2 that apply crushing hit damage. I can't really think of something else, but what I think is the damage dealer that doesn't rely on critical damage, like Fangyan or Bomber, when they do their normal attack, they will most likely crushing hit against a weaker element. So it's not bad like Malaka against Kamoon, or Fangyan against a water unit like a Molong. It will often apply crushing hit, and this will give some extra bonus. Or just any support unit out there that you use against a weaker element, let's say Harmonia against Tyrannus, then it will do crushing hit, and then extra damage is always good. Lastly, we have HP and attack bar when revive is very little, and if you don't quad roll it, is really little. And also the description say when revived is not applicable to the unit that grant the revive. So more or less you will use this on self revive unit to get some extra bonus attack bar or HP. Let's say you are using Water Demon, then you want the extra attack bar when revive. That's pretty good for the Water Demon, but Water Demon itself is not a very good unit, but that will help him to not get cut as frequent, which is not a bad idea. But I'd rather get more damage for the Water Demon. But Water Demon is not very popular or good anyway. So that's it for me for my own artifact cheat sheet. If you have any more improvement, let me know in the comment section down below, because we're all learning at this point. And if you want to help out with formatting this shit, let me know as well. I can send you the file. Really appreciate you watching. Thank you so much, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.